I'm Billy, and welcome back to my channel.
Can you tell that I'm a wee bit higher on coffee than usual? Because I am. This is no ordinary person you're dealing with. Today I will be detailing the extensive list of books that gave me nightmares, because it's October. And it's the time to do that. And by that, I mean expose myself as the weak little bitch that I am. Also, this is a tag, one that yours truly created. Now, presenting the books that gave me nightmares tag. Yeah, I don't know what gave me the agency to do that either. Let's just get into it. Oh, so you like to torture yourself too? Name a book that you reread, despite how much it freaks you out. Spooky. I'm thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I don't know how to describe this book to you without giving everything away. It's trippy and there's people in it. I like it because it seems like something that could really happen, and that's scary. I have read this book many a time, mostly because it took me a few goes to even remotely comprehend it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it every time. And if you watched my Finally Fall tag, you would know I'm planning on reading it yet again, so that I can watch the movie with knowledgeable book knowledge. Fresh knowledge, book knowledge, yeah. But I misplaced my copy. So now I'm on the very long wait list at the library. A wait list so long that I'm thinking of ending things. Next. Sleep is for the weak. What is a book that made you sleep in your parents' bed for weeks? I have two for this one. LOL. I have two for a lot of these. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm a scaredy cat. Coraline by Neil Gaiman and Lovely Bones by Alice Yold. So Coraline. This book effed me the F up when I was like 8 and still does. I'm 19. It's about a gal named Coraline. She moves into a new place and there's a door that's locked. She eventually shimmies her way through that door. And guess what? It's another apartment that looks just like hers, but like better. And boy, does she love it. I mean, everybody has buttons for eyes, but she's willing to overlook that because everything else is just fab. Until it's not. The mere thought of Coraline still gives me the heebie-jeebies. There's also a movie that's like, you know, claymation, which is already scary on its own, but then add the storyline and boom! Nightmares for years, baby. I honestly think that this one scared me more than any of the other books in this video. Okay, next. The Lovely Bones. The opening line of this book is one of my faves ever. My name was Salmon, like the fish. First name, Susie. And I was 14 when I was murdered on December 6th, 1973. Like, come on, so good. We got intrigue, mystery, spooks, and sweetness, all within the first 2 seconds. It really does only get scarier from here. So it's about Susie Salmon, who gets murdered when she's 14 and gets stuck in this place called the In-Between, where she hasn't quite moved on from Earth, but isn't quite in heaven. She basically watches her family come to terms with her unsolved murder. It's bleak, baby. What I really liked about this book is that even though it's centered around her murder, I don't think it makes her murder a thrilling plot point. So I'm like really sick of the torture and murder of females being the thrilling plot point.
'Cause it's not.
Anyways, this book also has a movie adaptation that's pretty freaking good if you ask me. Next.
A series of spooks, you say?
Oh no!
Share a series that made you scream. I also have 2 series for this one. The Diviners by Libba Bray and The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater.
Yes, you heard me right.
First, Diviners. It's a quadology. There's 4 books. Each one spookier than the next, in my opinion. Follows this insufferable girl named Evie. Ooh, unpopular opinion, sorry. As she comes of age into her mystical, magical powers in 1920s New York. The scary part of these books is Libba Bray's descriptions of the spooky things going on. Like, she really paints a picture for you. and a lot of it is pretty grotesque. There's serial killers, there's illness, there are supernatural haunts that make this the perfect series to read in October. Should I try and fit a reread into my reading plans for this month? Yeah, probably not. But TBH, I might try. Anyways, my beloved Raven boys. Why would this series count as one that would make me scream? Because the threat of my boys dying, or even being hurt, is worse than any jump scare. Maggie Stiefvater really knows how to tug at my heartstrings just the right way. Also, if you've never heard of, and or just haven't gotten around to reading the series,
WTF.
are you doing with your life? But if you haven't, there's magic and love and other supernatural stuff that makes it just perfect. Some might say it's the best thing to be written ever. And that is a fact. Onward!
I spy with my little eye.
A weak little bitch.
Please excuse my French. Name a book that isn't meant to be spooky, but really had you shaking in your boots. How I Live Now by Meg Roshoff. This book wrecked me, like truly and really wrecked me. It's about a gal named Daisy who gets shipped off to stay with her cousins in England. 2 days after she gets there, bombs are dropped on England, and then most of the rest of the novel explores how war devastates a country and also one's psyche. And everything seems so real, and the fact that it's written first person, stream of consciousness style from an angsty teen's POV really adds to the freak factor. Because, I can relate to teen angst and bad decisions. And it really feels like this could happen to us tomorrow, and I'd really rather it didn't. I read this book years ago, and I still think about it regularly. It really sticks with you. Well, it really stuck with me. According to Goodreads, it didn't really freak anybody else out as much as it freaked out me. Question number 5.
Talk about basic. What's a book that you've read that's meant to be real scary, but it just...
Didn't do it for you.
Very unpopular opinion here. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Honesty is policy here. It's about this creepy old house named, you guessed it, Hill House. And these 4 idiots who decide to uncover the haunts that lurk within. What I do like about this book is that the house becomes its own character. Pretty much the only thing in the whole book that feels like a living, breathing person. Which, albeit, is creepy, but I'm pretty easily spooked. And I'm a pretty big Shirley Jackson fan. And I never had a thought in my head that wasn't boring, or when does this actually get creepy? The Netflix TV show adaptation, on the other hand. Talk about scary! If you haven't seen it, plot is majorly different from the book on which it's based. Very different. Honestly, if you want to be scared, watch the show and burn the book. I don't mean that. I kinda do.
Tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow. Classic?
Name a classic that made you want to vom it and never sleep again. The Lottery, also by Shirley Jackson. Am I redeeming myself, Shirley Jackson fans? This one is not here just to redeem myself. It is so scary. Scary. Technically, it's a short story.
Kind of creeps up on you and gets under your skin.
You don't even know what hit you until you've finished reading and the damage is done. And since this one is so short and just how it's structured, I can't tell you anything about it, other than that you should read it. I'll have it linked down in the description if you want to read it. I always have all of the books that I mention linked down there. This one was actually originally written for the New Yorker, I think. It's still on their website 40 years later for you to read for free. So stop what you're doing and go do that. It'll take 20 minutes of your time and you'll never sleep again. Perfect.
Friends are so nice and kind. What is a book that was recommended to you, but made you momentarily not like the person who recommended it, because it had you that zonked? So, I don't really have any friends, except my sister.
Hey Jordan.
But I just feel in my bones. The cat from Paperback Dreams and I would be besties. Here are 2 books that she recommended. Really effed me up, if you know what I mean. We have The Troop by Nick Cutter and Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Did she say that if you don't like body horror and or animal horror, not to read these books? Yes. Do you really think that I listened? Of course not.
I learned how to hoop because of her, okay?
Anyway, The Troop by Nick Cutter. Where do I start with this book? It's disgusting. Oh, gross. If you have a weak stomach, please stay away. I should have stayed away. It's about these boys who are in a Boy Scout troop. That sounds right. And they'll go camping in this little tiny uninhabited island with their troop leader. Then a weirdie shows up who looks incredibly sickly. And because they're such good little scouts, they decide to help him out. Big mistake.
Huge.
God, I hated every second of this. Yes, it is scary, but for me, it was more just like queasy, gross, ew. I was momentarily mad at Kat for recommending this, even though she so kindly warned us that it was whack. What I did like was that it had a true blue plot that didn't get lost in trying to be a horror book. Surprisingly, happens a lot. Okay, next and last.
Pretty Goyles by Karen Slaughter.
This book. It's about these two sisters who've drifted apart and have kind of written each other out of each other's lives. Her older sister, who seemingly had everything going for her, went missing, never to be seen again. In the present day, a seemingly unrelated Goyle goes missing, and these two sisters come back together and fight to uncover the truth of these missing girls. Pretty girls. So this book warrants, like, every trigger warning known to man. It also somehow makes it worth it. If you're not okay with body horror and lots of it,
It is probably in the book for you.
but I will say, typically hate body horror. I find it gratuitous and gross and a lot of times pointless. But I didn't hate it in this book. Should've. Like, I honestly couldn't tell you why I didn't. Actually, I think it's because it's so plot twisty and pretty well written, despite how absolutely disgusted I was. Had to find out what was gonna happen next. I still think about this one a lot. Definitely gave me some pretty freaky dreams. Also made me never want to listen to a cat recommendation again. But I obviously didn't do that. Love you, cat. Okay, that's it. That's the whole tag. This was so much fun to film and to come up with. It might just be my favorite video that I've ever made. Yeah, I said that. Anyways, I tag. Well, I'm gonna mention these people's channels that I've been obsessed with lately. And if they just happen to do this video, I would like totally watch it. But I'm not gonna like pressure them. But like if they made this video, I would think that was like really fun. Nicole Reads, Olivia's Catastrophe, Literary Lizzie, Rare Reads, and you. Let me know in the comments if you do this tag, because I want to watch your freaking videos and not do my homework. Please help me out here. I post new videos every Friday and other days. Maybe. Bye. I can still see you. What?